Yes, Master Connectors, here we go.
He challenged me. He said, you should meet 2 or 3 people every day.
We're talking about how to level up on LinkedIn and engagement, being the go-giver, the idea that being open to opportunity.
We all deal with challenges, but how do you overcome them?
Master Connector with Steve Spiro and Cameron Toth is live on air.
Yes, we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are live on air. And listen, have you ever not gotten that selfie moment, right, and regretted it? You were there. You were close to the power. You could have gotten the image to present that to the world and show your proximity to greatness. I've been there. It's tough. Understanding that how we are perceived through the people that we are connected to is such a big, big, big deal. And as we level up in the world and we want people to see us in a more professional way, this topic is close to my heart because I had an experience in my career where it just took somebody to see me differently. My association with something greater than I was, which we happen to be a professional association, took me from being a fired employee to a leading, managing, captaining employee. So I love this episode. Steve, you ready to drop some truth on us?
I am, sir. Hey, what's going on, friends? Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct here. And so, listen, great point. And I don't know if, by the way, have you noticed, Cameron, no tie? I don't know. Got no pink tie going on there. We got the cool pink pocket square going on. But yeah, new Cameron we're looking at here. But anyway, here's the question, right? And I love what Cameron said, right? Have you ever been around individuals who possess exceptional qualities or skills or achievements? I know I have. Honestly, for a long time, that intimidated the heck out of me. It really did. Perhaps these people were role models or mentors or maybe in some way they were inspirational people. And being around them kind of motivated or inspired you. Or maybe at some point they intimidated you. That was me, right? I was the kind of guy, when I got around people like that, I just felt totally inadequate. I always played the comparison game and I always lost. But honestly, it can provide you opportunities for learning and growth if you really embrace it, being around those people. And, you can observe them and you could kind of learn from their actions and behaviors. That's one thing. Well, a mentor to me said, hey, if you want to be more than what you are right now, look at certain people that you admire and just sort of kind of model them, right? I know that, we're going to hear from Brittney today, and she's got a background in the athletic world, and I'm sure she could share about a bunch of that, how you see people. And I happened to watch the Air movie just a couple weekends ago with Michael Jordan and the whole story behind, Nike and so forth. Cool how, he didn't want to be, like Larry Bird and these other ones. He wanted to be the best version of himself. So there's a give and take there, right? But it can be intimidating being around those people, and one of the things it does is it kind of exposes you sometimes to your limitations and your shortcomings. But regardless, it's an experience that can be it's humbling and also empowering, and it reminds us of really the potential for greatness that lies within all of us. And that's really, I believe, what to me, what this being the proximity to greatness is all about. So if you're ready to be in the proximity of greatness, and you're ready for my man, Cameron Toth, who I appreciate you, sir, big time, more than you know, for him to introduce our guest, I'd like you to type in right now, or as they say in the South, right now, let's go. So hashtag let's go, and turn it over to you, sir.
Absolutely. So let's go, folks. Get in there. Don't be a LinkedIn lurker. We're going to get this party started. And so I'm going to put Brittney on the screen here and tell you a little bit about her. My folks, let's talk about Brittney Ezell. She's a former college basketball head coach and dynamic public speaker, holding a doctorate in leadership with nearly 3 decades of leadership experience in collegiate sports. She brings a track record of talent development and event management to Next Move via Keller Williams and Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment. Known for her investment in people, excellent communication skills. Oh my goodness. An instant connection with others. Brittney has held executive positions in the sports industry and currently serves as CEO and team leader at Keller Williams Johnson City. Her focus on winning, collaboration, and transformative relationships aligns with Keller Williams' values, making her a sought-after professional. Expect an exciting live show filled with inspiring leadership insights, a commitment to success, and a contagious enthusiasm for all she does. Please welcome to the Master Connector Show, Brittney Ezell.
Man, how do you even say anything after that intro? I'll take it. I was kind of hoping for the Bulls intro music from, like Jordan here. We're going to talk about that. I was going to have my John Paxton moment. So I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. I am excited. I'm humbled. I'm honored. And just ready to pour into anybody that decides to join us today. So thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you.
It's amazing.
Oh, there we go. I keep unmuting and Cameron's unmuting me. It's all good though. So, hey, Dr. Brittney, great to have you on here. Awesome seeing you. A great chat backstage as well before. So we're all about stories. We're all about kind of hearing a little bit about kind of, how you got started. Because I know, success was not just like, hey, here we are, I'm successful, right? There's a journey there. So we'd love our community right now to type in hashtag let's tell us, right? Hashtag tell us. So we'd like for you, Brittney, to tell us about your life early on as an athlete and how it really shaped who you are today.
Oh, wow. We could do a whole show with that. But I think the first thing that I need to do is at least acknowledge the fact that you attempted a Southern accent. I do appreciate that. It made me feel right at home.
There you go. I did it just for you.
We'll say it just for the listeners. So let's go, y'all. Here we go. So I grew up in Franklin, Tennessee, right outside of Nashville. Was a 3-sport athlete through high school, recruited for 3 sports. Kind of all over the country, ended up going to the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, and was a basketball player and a softball player for the university. Started at point guard for 4 years at Alabama, winning a stretch of 4 years in Alabama history, and then was on the first ever SEC championship softball team at Alabama before I graduated with a degree in business. And that's when coaching kind of found me. Honestly, didn't see myself as a coach. I thought I was going to be an attorney, but they kind of do the same things, right? So we argue and lobby and those kind of things. But went off to graduate school, University of Nebraska.
I like what you said that they do the same thing.
kind of the same stuff. I was going to pause before some of the things that would make us akin, but it's okay. Master's degree, University of Nebraska in admin, started as a GA, and then got the call to come home. If you know anything about Alabama lore, we had a football coach there a long time ago that was pretty good. His name was Bear Bryant. And the reason he came back to Alabama is he said that Mama called. And that university is definitely home to some remarkable people. And I was fortunate to get called home and to serve my university for 5 years, and then became a head coach at 28. Coaching junior college, bartending at night, teaching classes. Got hired away from that to a Division II. Still teaching classes, still just trying to make it. Got hired away there to Division I at Belmont University in Nashville. Hired away from there to East Tennessee State. And then I finished my career after 8 years at ETSU. And in the process, got my doctorate in leadership, started teaching in the College of Business Technology, started doing some public speaking, some mentoring, some whatever you want to call it. And then got out of coaching because coaches get fired. That's what happens. There's 2 kinds of coaches that have been fired, coaches that are going to get fired. Figure it out. You're in one of those 2 categories.
I love that.
Yeah. So got fired and really took that rejection as a redirection and an opportunity to really kind of, I guess, deal with myself and decide what route I wanted to take. I mean, the road was already created for me. I just had to start stepping down it, and here I am. And so now I'm CEO at Keller Williams in Johnson City. I have about 170 some odd agents. I also work with Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment and the Private Housing Network. There's about 800 agents that I help oversee there. Do some NIL consulting. I do some mentoring for young coaches. I help coaches prep for job interviews. But the favorite thing that I do, gentlemen, is I introduce people that can really make a difference in a stranger's life, and they were meant to meet. So that's my favorite part of my day to day.
Well, I got to tell you, very
Enough?
great. Yeah,
Now we're good.
yeah, seriously. And, you know, I mean, I always get like, again, you know me, I had this sort of imposter syndrome, or maybe it wasn't even imposter syndrome, because I never thought I was highly educated. I mean, I'm a smart guy. I'm not putting myself down, but I'm not highly educated, right? I love the fact that I go by the Master Connector, because that's about as close to a master's degree that I can get, right? Is having the title Master Connector, right? But I'm very much respect, right, to you and all that you've accomplished in education, athletics, and all that stuff. So really, 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 really amazing. But we do want to speak on learning for a moment here, and so type in hashtag learning. And, you know, again, listen, like Cameron said, we're not lurkers, we're involved. So get in there in the comments. We also want everyone that's watching the show to connect with each other. Get in there and you know, make sure you're connecting offline and adding value for each other, because that's what we're all about, right? It's the Master Connector Show. But so here's the question: what does lifelong learning mean to you, Brittney? I know you kind of referenced that at one point.
What does lifelong learning mean to me? There is no greater investment in yourself than education. And it's something you can't take from me. It is mine. It is mine. It is a competency acquisition. It is a skill acquisition. It is a mindset. You can't have it. But the best part about being a lifelong learner is it gives you opportunity to be very giving, altruistic in a sense. I can pour into others because I am overflowing. People always say, you can't pour from an empty cup, but by God, you can fill your cup to the point of overflowing and then just let it go and share it. It's really not ideal to get a whole lot of education, whether that's from the School of Hard Knocks or all the schools that I've got little abbreviations behind my name for, if you're not willing to share it. It's not a secret, right? And so that's why I like learning. That's why I like, trying to come from curiosity in everything that I do. Because if I come to you guys or come to anybody out of curiosity, then the next conversation I can come out of contribution. So it's a constant balance of, I am super, super curious about what's going on, then I'm going to immerse in it, and now I can contribute a little bit better to the next person. And that's just kind of how the education journey should be.
That is really well said, that piece of coming from curiosity and then going into contribution. And I think, man, a lot more of and I'm hoping I'm getting some head nodding. So if you're in the chat with me and you want to give me an amen on that, curiosity and then the contribution, that's a big deal. I love it.
Yeah. And, one of the things that also I'll reflect off what you said is, when you learning is great. Mm-hmm. And you said about giving it away, mentoring, whatever, teaching. I learned the best when I was teaching. Mm-hmm. So I in my experience in the martial arts, right, years of a couple black belts. That's really when I really absorbed the most and learned the most, is when you're giving it away and giving it to other people and helping others. So it's so important.
Yeah,
so
I think truth. If you're going to really be a lifelong learner, you've got to be okay with saying I don't know. And just being vulnerable enough to say, you know what, this is not my wheelhouse, teach it to me. I am so excited to learn this. And I've never really been a hesitant person when it comes to, hey, I really don't know. That's not my jam, dude. Like, show it to me. I didn't know you had a black belt. I didn't know you had a pink tie. I don't know these things, okay? I'm learning all kinds of things about your wardrobe. Like, I don't know what I don't know. And it is my job to go and find answers to questions that I'm not even sure what to ask. So I just try to, spend double the amount of time listening than I do talking. And because, your ears don't get misquoted, you know what I mean? So you just kind of,
now when you're traveling down the aisle and you see that pink tie, who to think about. I want to talk about this story as a financial news story, but one of the things that is boosting Krispy Kreme's bottom line is the fact that they have, with their marketing, instead of putting their money into billboard ads and into consultants on strategies to get, they have started saying, we're going to focus on this promotion of giving a dozen donuts to a college graduate, because they want to be associated. And there's the two pieces here, right? They want to be associated with greatness. Mm-hmm. And they liked when they did this promotion, people started talking about it. Mm-hmm. And they got amazing amount of media views. And so this is what they focus on. This is how their stock is way up now. And I think it's a really incredible tie into what we're talking about, right? How can you contribute? Mm-hmm. Donuts is not the business that most of us are in, right? Thank God. Thank God for our waistlines and our bottom lines, right? But the idea that you can find a way in your business to do something to contribute, mm-hmm. and do it in such a way that makes sense for both, who you are. And we talk about this, right, Steve, the go-giver, right? This idea that by giving, you get so much more. And so when you do it genuinely and you do it for a good reason and you associate yourself with greatness, so many great things can happen. I love that. Love it.
Yes, sir. That's great. Good stuff. So and we could go on this one, but I want to get to the next one. And so one of the pillars of our show is having the grit to overcome obstacles, right? And as an athlete, as a coach, and now the very, very thriving businesswoman, I'm sure there's been lots of challenges that you've had. Mm-hmm. So love to hear. So this is go-tos, hashtag go-tos in the community. I should
have thought that more through. It looks like go toss, but it's go toss.
Yeah. Go toth. Maybe.
Go toes. Go tos.
But go-tos. But so what are some of, Brittney, what are some of your go-to techniques to overcome obstacles?
Golly, it probably depends for me on what kind of obstacle we're talking about. I think a lot of people will talk about that you have to summon up this certain level of courage to do certain things. I completely disagree with that. Courage is what you get after you have enough grit to really go and get to the other side of fear. Courage is something that you attain, that you get that. I don't think that everybody just has this courageous part of them that they're going to go out and do it. It's just saying, no, dude, I'm going to stick with this. This matters to me. This conversation's important. I want to pick this person's brain. I want to be where they are. I mean, everybody that I walk into a room with, I know this, has a signature strength. Everybody does. We weren't created to be mediocre. That's my personal belief. So I've got to figure out what it is about this person that is their signature strength. And then how can I kind of grab onto it, pick at it, learn more about it, and develop a little bit, kind of emulate it. Imitation is a sincere form of flattery. I don't want to imitate it. I want to take what you did. I want to highlight it to somebody else. I want to do that, because what I've found about obstacles and where people get stuck is they think that you winning means I'm losing. That's not true.
Yeah.
You can win. It doesn't mean I've lost. Right. And it's part of my competitive nature. I do have a little bit of a competitive kindness when it comes to that. I do. I'm competitive. I'm kind. You do your thing. I've just always felt like if I were to take on a challenge, it's not going to dim my light. It's just going to make it brighter. And then my candle is definitely not going to lose any flame if I ignite another with what I just learned.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to build courage by finding what you said, Steve, is I like finding that grit. And, we in the South definitely like grits with the S, and we used to use the abbreviation as GRITS, as girls raised in the South. That would be us. All right. Because you don't find too many women that are as forward and kind of gutsy, truthfully, or willing to speak their mind or stand up for what they think is right than we Southern women. So I love what you said about grit and finding it, but on the other side of fear is where you're going to find courage for the next one and for the next one, for the next one.
Hey,
So,
Steve, let me just chime in here because I think as it applies to like networking events and you're trying to create collaboration with people, because there's a big, call it imposter syndrome, shyness, fear of rejection, whether it's asking for that next meeting, that coffee date, the selfie, that feeling of like, I can be interesting. And so, right now, if I'm meeting Brittney, I don't know anything about it. Hey, talk to me about this shirt. This shirt is so cool, right?
Yeah.
No one succeeds alone. And I just want to bring that up because whether it's your shirt, I could go to the earrings. Hey, I really like your sweater. Where'd you get that? And we can get into that conversation, and that leads, because what you were saying before, that curiosity leads to contribution. When you start telling me the story about the earrings or the shirt or anything else that somebody else has got going on, typically their passions are coming out, and you might not get a great answer on that particular moment on that great particular question. But if you keep diving, there's going to be an avenue on an opening. And then the other thing I'll say is when there isn't, there's probably a reason, and that person has probably got something else going on. And so just make a note to go back, right? And follow up. Because I think I've let those opportunities slip through many times thinking, oh, I'm being rejected in some form. And I come to find out, and I'll use a perfect recent example. So Trevor Houston was just on the show. I was just in Texas. We actually saw each other in person, and I couldn't help but notice that there just it seemed that something be a little off. He was going through something, and we didn't get that selfie, and we didn't get that moment. But I took it in the moment. I just sort of, there was something going. I felt there was like a little energy that was off. I should have followed up because it wasn't about me. Right. And so I think that's really, really important. And your statement about women, grit, that piece, I think that particularly applies because I think a lot of times we can be easily offended and feel like, oh, they don't want me, I'm rejected. It doesn't have anything to do with you. Stop thinking it's about you. Be curious, contribute, and turn it around. Right. I love that.
Yeah. I try to think when I walk into a networking event, the last thing on my mind is being found interesting by somebody else. I'm walking in there to be interested. You want somebody to really think you're interesting, be interested. Like you said, find something that's a conversation piece. That's fine. And I think the other thing for me when it comes to obstacles, Steve, is that I don't really seek validation from invalid people. I don't really care.
That's strong. That's pretty strong.
You do you. And if we can help each other, great. If we can't, great. Nice to meet you. Keep it moving. And that comes from being a coach. When you walk in a room, 50% of the people love you and 50% of the people hate you, and you're the same person. It doesn't really matter. So unless you're, signing my checks or paying my bills, your opinion is just that. And your opinion is really not my business. It's not, but your contribution is. And that's all I'm trying to dig at.
Yeah, I heard opinions about like belly buttons. Everyone's got one and they stink, so keep your opinion to yourself. But no, and one of the things that you mentioned early on in what you just talked about is in terms of like, just because you're doing well, it doesn't mean I can't do well as well, or vice versa. And I love one of my favorite books, more recent books that I've read is The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek, right? And he speaks about that it's not a matter of win or lose. It's a matter of whoever holds out long enough and succeeds long enough, they're the one that's ultimately going to win the game. Yeah. And so it doesn't have to mean, I don't make me stronger or bigger by knocking your building down. Literally it's just who lasts longer. So
well, connections and competition all create catalytic moments. And we're either both going to be propelled forward from that competition or for that collaboration, or one of us is, and one's going to go in a different direction. It's going to move you one way or the other. And sometimes losing is what leads you to bigger wins. So I don't really get hung up in it. I don't know my win-loss record, but I know where my players are. And I know what I was supposed to do with those relationships. I know that.
Speaking of players, that's great segue. So we want to talk about hashtag attract. And you've put teams together. I know Cameron's in the process of building his team for his TOEF TOEF staffing.
Both event staffing. Yes,
that's it.
indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get this out of the way. Boom.
There you go.
There
There's
we
our
go.
sponsor. There you go. Appreciate that. But yeah, so we want to hear, so hashtag attract for the viewers community. But how have you attracted the right team members over the years, right? And that can apply to sports, athletics, or obviously what you're putting together, with Keller.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a recruiter since I was, even when I was playing. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about discovering someone's signature strength and then finding the best way to utilize it so it's good for everybody. So it's not just something that's unique to them, that everybody can use it. I think there's a lot of really focusing more on the transformation and the power of the relationship rather than just the transaction of the full recruitment. Yeah, this person's a great producer, but are they good for culture? So there's a lot of things that go into it. It's a lot of art and science, to be real honest. And I spend a lot of time on the art of listening, not just the action. I'm watching your body language. I'm watching all of the things about you. What makes your eyes light up? What do you really want to talk about? And most people just really want to talk about themselves, which is cool. Like, go ahead, do your thing. Like, it's fine. The best teams that I ever put together were really kind of by accident, because I always have this fantastic plan. This is the perfect thing. This is the perfect person that I need. And I get them, and it's just not what I was expecting. And then somebody comes out of the blue that delivers in a way that you never thought they could. And so I think it's just the best way to put things together and to attract people is just to be open to all the opportunities that everybody brings when they walk in the room. You just don't know.
The shot not taken, right? The shot taken never goes in.
Yep.
Right? And I want to bring that up because I haven't learned from my amazing wins, right? I haven't learned from that one hire that I did and it just went well and that person worked out. No, I learned from the absolute failures, why I do certain things, why I need to do certain things, what I need to look for. And, as we're going out into the world, I think it's really important not to be afraid to bring people into the circle and not be afraid of your mentors and the people you want to connect to, because you'll never know if you don't take that shot, right?
Oh, absolutely. See, and lucky for you, I was a point guard. I didn't shoot a whole lot, but my entire career and my entire professional career is chasing an assist. That's my job. I got to find the finishers and then set them up to do what they do best. That's my job. And I love it. And that's what I try to do in my everyday life is chase assist.
That's perfect segue to the next section, which is hashtag win-win.
Yeah.
And so we want to tell us about that, right? So you talk about assists. Obviously it's to win, and you have it on your shirt. No one succeeds alone, right? So tell us about how you find win-win scenarios, not just talking athletics, obviously in general in life.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that, because that's one of the main pillars at Keller Williams. It has to be a win-win or no deal. Because bottom line, guys, is we can't do good business with bad people, right? So we want to be connected in a way that makes sense for you, that aligns with who you are, that aligns with your values of your business, that aligns with your mission, vision, and values, what you want, not just in this transaction, but what do you want? And then it goes back to what you guys were talking about in the open. It's your proximity. Who do I want to be around? Who can I learn from? That makes it a win-win. Can you learn from me and I can learn from you and we can help each other grow? Great, win-win. But if all you're going to do is take from me, then we've got a problem. We've got a problem. And the big problem with that is that, I'm a giving person. Givers, we don't really have an opportunity to draw boundaries because we give with no expectation of return. Takers take without any expectation of doing anything other than taking. So it's finding that balance between what you do, who you are, and where you want to go. Can I go with you on this ride for a little while? Can I be there? Can I, just kind of hover around you? Because Everybody says that your network is your net worth, and I want to be around people that are smarter, that are faster, that are better educated. That's a win-win for me. This is a win-win for me. I've been taking notes. I mean, I made a note to check my Krispy Kreme stock is what I did. So it matters. And everything matters, and one of the big things with win-win, everybody says, well, what kind of abilities do they have to have? Do they have to do, close a certain level of GCI? Do they have to? No. You have to be dependable, have dependability, accountability, responsibility, adaptability. All of those things go into win-win scenarios, all of them. And you got to be flexible. So if you're rigid and you think your way is the only way, we're all screwed, right?
Love that.
Let's find the best way forward and keep it moving.
Yeah. Well, we want to wrap up. I just, this show is all about being the light, uplift, inspire, encourage. And you have something that you speak about, joyous, right? So hashtag joyous. Want to do that really quick? Maybe give us 1 minute soundbite on that. What does living your life with joyous intensity mean to you? And then we're going to wrap up and want you to, after that, tell everyone how they best reach you and connect with you.
Yeah, I think joyous intensity is just my way of saying that I live my life on purpose. That my life doesn't happen to me, it happens for me. And it really doesn't even just happen for me. It happens for the people that I'm in connection with, that I'm in network with, because the things that I go through, good, bad, or ugly, I can help someone else not have to experience or help someone else experience success greater than me. But I can only do that if I'm intentional, if I'm intense, and I find joy in my day. Not every day is good, but there's good in every day, right? So that is kind of my goal. I choose my joy every day. I do. And it's just part of who I am and part of what I want to be. And when I'm at the end of my life, I know that I lived it the right way. And I'm the hero to somebody, I'm the villain to somebody else, but I still have this same level of joy. I still have the same level of joy, hired, fired, close, win, lose, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Joy's between you and you. And if you're intense about it, you'll be fine.
And I think a lot of it has to do with, when you know that your purpose is really helping other people, and you have this others focus, which is a big part of what this show is also about, being that go-giver, like Cameron said, right? When you know that you're making a difference and I love what you said. We spoke about this on the show with you. You light your candle and then you light somebody else's, yours doesn't diminish, right? And so just when you're doing that and you're making a difference with people's lives, it's impossible to not really live your life with joyous intensity, right? Yeah. When you're being very inward focused, self-focused, yeah, it's super hard because now you're so focused on what you've accomplished and maybe those things. But when you've helped others, it's amazing. And quite frankly, that joy is almost infinite because you pass on that joy, and then those positive, whatever, you've done good with it for others, and they do good for other people, and there's a ripple effect. It's amazing.
Yeah, people don't really realize that you give everyone you encounter a little bit of hell. It's either, oh hell yeah, here she comes, or oh hell no, here she comes. What kind of hell do you want to deliver today? That's just really all it is.
I love that, Dr. Brady, and I've used that. I haven't been using that in my. I interview a lot of people for my work, and I use certain examples, and I haven't used that one in a while. So I'm taking notes too. I'm going to go back to the office and talk about that because that is a big deal, right? And I just experienced, I was at a conference in lovely Newark, New Jersey the last 3 days. And, one of the sort of keys to my success is I think when people were seeing me, they were saying, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was seeing or not seeing people that needed to be where they were, I'm like, oh, hell no, and it was sort of a situation where I had to, people saw me more and were saying hell yes more for me. And it brings me to Carmelo Anthony. I'm a basketball guy, Knicks guy. I was very happy with the Knicks' latest run towards the playoffs. Happy with where they're going and they're building. And Carmelo Anthony, as I was thinking about him earlier when you were talking about, some people are great players, not necessarily the folks you want on your team. And I think that's a lesson. Hopefully the Knicks have learned. If somebody from the Knicks organization is listening, I got the equipment managers, one of the dads around me in the school that I go to. So I like talking to him. I like rooting along with him. but the idea that it's not enough to be a team player, you got to be a team leader, and that's a big deal. I love that a lot. All right, Steve.
Yeah, so Brittney, tell everyone the best way to
yes.
reach you, connect with you. How would you like them to get in contact with you?
Feel free to reach out on LinkedIn if you like. That's where Steve and I met. I was following him along as kind of a fan, so I overcame my fear and reached out to him, and that's how we connected. So yeah, reach out to me on LinkedIn. My Instagram is just my name, just at Brittney Ezell, or you can go to my business Instagram, which is b.connected.jc. There it is, right on my screen. I'd love to meet you. Send me a message. Let me know how I can help you. I'm here to serve. Just let me know.
That's awesome. Yep, definitely connect with Brittney. And yeah, I appreciate the compliment. I didn't really. I mean, when I met with you, I'm like I was kind of totally starstruck myself. So, but that's great stuff. Listen, the reality is we are all amazing, right? And that's the message I want you, the community, to listen and hear. It's not Brittney's awesome, Steve's awesome, Cameron's awesome. You're awesome, and just understand that, know that. Don't yeah, exactly. Look at that. Cameron is pointing at you, not me, not Brittney. You, right? Exactly. You are awesome. So go out there, be the light, be an inspiration to somebody. Make sure you're having you're making a difference in somebody's life today. Say something nice. If you're talking, you're at the shop and maybe the lady or man behind the counter is a little grumpy. Say something nice. Make their day. Maybe they just need somebody to give them something to uplift them today. And hey, nice hair or nice earrings, right? Nice T-shirt, whatever. That is something. And you make a difference, and it's good. You'll see, and that ripple effect is incredible. So
I was running a conference over the last 3 days, and Brittney, you've run some conferences and events and player motivation, all this stuff. And I was asking for a lot, and I tried before my ask almost every single time to give, whether it was a compliment, just some positivity, some energy, my own smile. And I felt like that went a long way. I was told it went a long way, but it made my job easier at the end of the day. So there's that. And it was a lot more fun than anything else would have been, right? If I'm just coming at people grumpy, it's not a lot of fun. I'm not making their day any better. I'm not making my day necessarily any better, right? So go out there and contribute and give. All right. We have this tradition on the show. I'm going to say one thing about next week here, just to give people the heads up. We have another show next week, 1 p.m., same bat time, same bat channel. I think this is the wrong number, Steve. Is this the right thing? Well, we're going to go with it anyways. Lighting the Path to Lead, Shelly Harrison. And we'll see you next week. And then we always jump off this show by counting down to crush it. All right. You're going to count down with us. Brittney, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, crush it, and that's how we take it out the show. Steve, any final word?
Yeah, the number was off. It's 116, but yes, it is Beacon of Light with Shelly, so we're good to go. Apologies on that. That's on me. But,
all right.
But anyway, you ready? Let's count down, and Brittney, you're going to do it with us and the community as well. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crush it!
Crush it. Have an amazing week, everybody. We appreciate you. Get in there. Make sure you're connecting with people. Make sure you connect with Dr. Brittney Ezell. We are excited for you to connect with her. We're excited for you to connect with each other. We will see you next week. Dr. Brittney, thank you. Here we go.